It finally happened. Throughout 2019, my favorite player, bar none, was ButAlways, an obscure but brilliant player from Taiwan. All year, I've been unable to find a game or series with ButAlways in it. Until now. He may be playing under a Chinese pseudonym, but I've been able to confirm that this is indeed ButAlways. Throughout 2019, he was insanely creative and fun, though for all I know, he's going to just play straight this entire series. But for now, let's just buckle our swash and see what happens. Game 1 is going to be on Golden Wall, which itself has the potential to lead to some pretty screwball games. Oh, and it's our Zerg player who actually does the first interesting thing. My man Joey's going extractor pool first. One thing about our Zerg player from Hong Kong, when he sees a red light turn green, it's GogojOey!
Current world rank 98.
Listen, I can't always find games with this Taiwanese Protoss player, but always will I watch them!
Current world rank 120.
But number 1 in my heart! Oh, we got a pylon block, forcing the Zerg to do an unnatural natural. I'm such a ridiculous fanboy, I'm gonna give him a pass for that. Oh, props to GogojOey, he's gonna relocate to the gold minerals. There's the cancel on that pylon, it's done its work. A much higher risk with that gold mineral base location. It's wide open and just a hop and a skip away from an adept attack. BA, aka ButAlways, is gonna spot that. He's gotta be happy to see that, but he's gotta act on it or it'll come back to bite him. Joey's gonna get an early economic boost on the mineral side. And with his early pool, he's already been able to start up ling speed. He's got a chance at being able to defend it. You'll see I keep checking those backdoor mineral patches because I fully expected at least one of these players to try backdoor mining. Lings are out, they find the hidden probe and trap it on the back door. A nice hit, that's a first blood for GogojOey. Core is finishing up for Protoss. You gotta think he wants to pressure that gold base. Yes, it's gonna be a chrono boosted adept. And a robo. Absolutely no delay on that tech choice. The Overlord's gonna roost and spot that adept. GogojOey has not made any more lings than his original 2. Protoss fires up warp gate research, and that first adept is practically here. The lings are gonna come over to scout, but they're no match for that adept. But I guess they don't have to be if the adept misses them entirely. The wall off is incomplete. Those lings are gonna walk right in. They're gonna see the robo. They're gonna get the guided tour of the main as well. There actually isn't any information to be had in the main though. So it looks like Zerg is gonna satisfy himself by snacking on some probes. Oh, it's an offensive probe pull. They get the surround on the lings. That's actually perfect in position. BA just killed both the lings without losing a probe. His adept did find the gold to be empty though, which means he's got to go at the main, which is guarded. The adept did snipe a ling, but now the queen's on him. Joey saves a drone with his spore evolution, and then his lings join the fight and the adept is gone. A good defense for Zerg, only lost a single ling. Ironically, the probes actually performed better than the adept. That's kind of embarrassing for an elite soldier. And look at this, the backdoor rocks are being mined out, but it's GogojOey, not BA, who's doing it. A warp prism comes out of that robo. BA gives away the surprise in exchange for a chance to go at that overlord. He's gonna get it with the magic of Beam Me Up Scotty. That's gonna result in a supply block for our Zerg too. GogojOey does not have another one in production. What he does have in production though is a roach warren. There he goes, 2 shiny new overlords on the way. Backdoor minerals have been mined out. There are lings on the south side of the map. It's sort of like the dark side of the moon. Those lings have it all to themselves. Scratch that. BA is mining the backdoor minerals as well. GogojOey positions his ling perfectly. Protoss cannot see it, but Zerg's gonna know as soon as that door opens. Meanwhile, BA's warp prism is also on the dark side of the moon, but he has not spotted any of the lings skittering around. They've all evacuated except for one. BA's after priority 1. He wants to shut down those gold minerals. He's got his second gate up so he can warp in adepts 2 at a time. And look at this great position. He can get at the drones. Only the queens can attack over the minerals. Fortunately for Joey, he's got 2 of them. BA is going to snipe 4 drones and he's going to force the drone pull. And you'll get a ling for a bonus. Actually, make that 2 lings for a bonus. And there's the hot pickup to save the adept. Protoss's back door is open. Will Joey spot it? His Ling gives him vision, but he has to actually look there. There's no alert that flashes on his screen to say, your opponent's underwear is showing. Joey sees it, zips in the base. He spots double Stargate making void rays. He immediately starts another queen. Protoss reacts to the breach by adding shield batteries. And he's hustling his warp prism back home. Zerg's responding by making a spore at his gold base. He's also got his third up at his natural. BA's expecting floodlings. They are out on the map, but they haven't shown up so far. That's gonna let him push out with his void rays on the dark side of the moon. He's also reinforcing his back door. It looks like he may have future expansion plans for there. It's triple queen at the gold, and he's making a fourth. The double void rays arrive. They're gonna grab a creep tumor and an overlord. Whoa, they bring that thing down so much faster than Phoenixes do. He's producing 2 more void rays behind this. Zerg is supply blocked again. BA's really going for an air commitment here. He's starting +1 air attack. And he's working on void ray number 5. Here come the floodlings. But they're not alone. There's a couple of ravagers in this attack. Oh, Joey gets a bile on the warp prism. Oh, he came so close to blowing that to pieces. Void rays to the rescue. Nope. It's queens to the rescue. Oh, BA's put down a fleet beacon. I think he's actually going for flux veins. The speed and mobility upgrade for void rays. I know all the cool kids are doing that now, but BA was doing it in 2019 when no one else would. I've casted the VODs to prove it. There's that fleet beacon. Oh, and Zerg is going for hive tech. I suspect that's more than just roach speed. I think that's going to be his response to the void rays. Can't wait to see it. This is a really interesting way to take a third base on Golden Wall. These Lings would really like to be challenging the third base location to the north, but there's no third base there. The Voids try to gang up on that spore, but the Queens are there. GogojOey shuts that down with transfuses, and BA almost loses a Void Ray in the attempt. In the right hands, transfuses are so good, man, so good. Oh, excellent adaptation by BA. He's just gonna float right over to the main. The travel distance between those 2 bases by air is really small, but it'll take a long time for the Queens to do that shuffle. The lone queen shows up. Guys, where is everybody? Guys! That's 1 dead queen. Oh, nobody's home at BA's front door. Joey's thinking about letting himself in or taking down that warp core. Thank goodness for Nexus Overcharge. BA holds the fort long enough for his next pair of void rays to come online. Joey has no air attack. He is a sitting duck, or in this case, a crawling roach. Meanwhile, the void rays have taken control of the Zerg's ramp. BA slipped an adept inside and is starting to do damage. But the queens from the gold base have finally arrived. They push the void rays away and the Lings clean up the adept. Which means BA's going right back to that gold base. GogojOey's also taking a 4th. My mother always says it's not good to stay on even bases with a Protoss. And he's finishing up a Spire. That's the void ray response. Interesting. And Zerg's gonna need one. Protoss just keeps chrono cranking those void rays. 3 at a time now. They're gonna hit that critical mass, which is gonna make them so hard to deal with. GogojOey's going for corruptors, 14 of them. He's looking to overwhelm his overwhelming force. Safe to say, there's gonna be a monster air battle in our future. Zerg's even going for +1 air attack too to even out what the Protoss already has. I mean, regardless of what happens next, this game has already been pretty awesome. 16 corruptors are now on back order. And the first of them are here, which is good because they can deal with that pesky warp prism. This is going to be the definition of overkill. And then the Lings are going to have to deal with the 2 adepts that are left over. One dies, but it looks like the second one makes it into the main and dies there. Those void rays are turning back. They didn't expect to be outnumbered so quickly. And look at the Protoss reaction. He's adding in carriers. Though I don't really know if that was in reaction to the corruptors. That could have just been part of the game plan all along. Frankly, at this point, I'm waiting to see if we'll get a Mama ship. Though right now it looks like BA's adding an extra Stargate again, and a Twilight Council. Road speed is finishing up for Zerg, but I'm not sure how relevant they're going to be in this game. Though hey, there could be 10 more twists and turns before this baby's over. Okay, the Corruptors are on the hunt now. Now, normally Corruptors are not considered ideal against Void Rays. Prismatic alignment gives the Void Ray significant bonus damage against armored types. And you guessed it, Corruptors do indeed count as armored. But what other air unit are you going to use? It's not going to be Mutas. You notice the little blue trails behind the Void Rays now? That tells you the Flux Vane speed upgrade is in place. Oh, Protoss reinforces. They're going after the Corruptors now. GogojOey instantly decides he doesn't like the math anymore. He's retreating. I should mention though, Flux Vanes is not just a speed upgrade. It's also an acceleration upgrade, which is something Void Rays desperately need, because when they turn on prismatic alignment for that bonus armor damage, their speed just drops. So Blizzard has gradually worked in this interplay for the Void Ray, which is really quite interesting. BA is expanding again on the dark side of the moon. Oh, we have a clash. Joey's outmaneuvered him. He's getting in free hits. BA is adding in a Templar Archive. Adding Battle Duck is one of the few ways this game could be made more awesome. Zerg is significantly outmining the Protoss right now. Joey's been able to get significant value out of those gold mineral patches. You'd think Protoss was packing enough heat to deal with 2 spores. Oh, the clash is happening right when Protoss gets +2 attack. The queens on the ground are going to have to be the difference maker. GogojOey's holding down the transfuse key and clicking like mad. He's keeping his Corruptors alive. And the Ravagers really help too. Every time they force the Void Rays to dodge a bile, they have to stop shooting. BA concedes he's going to try to recall to save his ships. Joey knows he's got an opening. He's going to push the attack. Protoss is in full flight now. Man, I love watching carriers explode. It's so fulfilling. The Protoss 4th base is barely up. BA's going to try and reinforce with his Void Rays, but he does not have enough. But the queens are not here this time. It's the opposite. They're shield batteries. Or there were until the Ravagers got at them. Oh, this is going to be close. I don't know if the Protoss can hold. There was no probe pull. The Lings just feast on the probes. 12 kills. The damage is done, but Protoss will force the Zerg back. At least the Corruptors. Joey's going to take that Nexus as a trophy before he pulls back the rest of his ground army. It's a huge supply lead for the Zerg now. Zerg has a significant edge on both workers and army. And his 5th base is up now, which partly explains why he's ahead on economy. ButAlways Void Ray Armada was fun, but it appears to have faltered. The queens are doing the slow march across the map. They make such a difference for those Corruptors. ButAlways is trying to get his 4th back up. The Lings are in front. I'm not sure the Void Rays can kill them fast enough. The cannon and shield batteries are not done. The Lings go right at the Nexus. The Lings have almost 100% surface area. BA concedes the inevitable and takes the cancel. The queens are marching back. They've got that look of satisfaction about them as they take their sweet time. Protoss is going to recommit to those Void Rays, but he's not going for his 3rd attack upgrade. That means GogojOey is going to catch up on upgrades. That was one of his biggest edges in the game, and it's just gone poof. Oh, and as I harp on it, he starts up his +3. That is one brave observer. There's an overseer there. Oh, that observer died like 50 times. All 21 of those Corruptors are going to fight over who gets credited with a kill. The Lings want to go for the 3-peat here, but this time the shield batteries are up, and the Void Rays are ready. GogojOey is maxed. Once again, he's going to slow march his queens across the map. Oh, I think the Lings just got a new plan. They're going to go right inside. Oh, this is so bad for the Protoss. There are a lot of Lings. He's going at the main and the natural. There's production there. Oh, there's a lot of cannons at the natural. The Lings are not going to get too much done there. Meanwhile, GogojOey's Corruptors are going to try to pounce on the Void Rays. Or not. Oh, I see. He needed to wait for his queens. I'm sure there's a deeply sexist women are always late joke in there somewhere. Oh, here's the clash! Once again, the Ravagers force the Void Rays to stop shooting and dodge. Is there, though, enough transfused juice? Every one of those plus signs means that unit just got 75 more hit points and is regenerating 50 more over time. But it's not enough! It's Zerg who has the dropping supply! And the Lings have been largely cleaned up. BA, I think, has managed to get himself back in this game. I thought this was a coup de grace here. He's still down 40 supply and he's getting badly outmined. But BA just punched the Zerg army pretty hard. Zerg no longer wants to fight him over top those shield batteries. The queens are going to march back to the creep in a huff. Protoss reloads with another wave of capital ships, and they are advancing. Zerg does have his hive tech now. He's using it to make Vipers. Can I just say the Viper is one of the most confusingly named units in the game? It doesn't look anything like a snake. Maybe a bird or a bug? Why would the Zerg name one of their species after a human animal? And if that's just what the Terran call them, why are the Terran naming Vipers after something they don't actually look like? Oh, I like this. Rather than fight Void Rays over shield batteries, GogojOey's just gonna punish him. He's gonna attack where the army is not. Protoss comes back to defend, and he will save his cyber core thanks to the shield batteries. One of GogojOey's mentor figures has gotta be Haas. At least I assume that, because he's the #1 player in Taiwan. And one thing you can say about Haas, other than his love for cheese, is that he knows the value of a shield battery. Oh, GogojOey decides 2 can play at that game. He's starting to throw down spores everywhere. BA, for his part, he's gonna research Storm. When Protoss is behind, Splash is one way you get back in it. Also, apparently, Void Rays, because he's making those 4 at a time. Protoss does have the lead on upgrades, +3 to +2, but it won't last. GogojOey has started his +3, and there ain't no +4. Unless you're Beyond. That dude always seemed to have a +4 upgrade. Ah, another good response by GogojOey. If your opponent's digging in with static defense, take the map. He's double expanding. If Protoss sits back, he's gonna go 7 bases to 4. Well, 5 really, because it looks like Protoss is thinking about taking the gold patches. That's a tough expand for Protoss. It's right next to the Zerg. He doesn't have any static defense there yet, but he does have a lot of Void Rays. They're pretty staticky. GogojOey shows off that he has Vipers with the first abduct of the game. BA does have his Templar out. He's gonna have to hit his feedbacks to neutralize. Otherwise, we'll just see more of that. Void Rays may be cheaper now, but they're not that cheap. There's the feedbacks. But Zerg is gonna deny that base low tech. He sends in the Lings. No, they're driven off. And Protoss has a pylon up. He can start planting the static D. We might even wind up seeing a shield battery push. Or actually, with a thicket of spores like that, we might wind up seeing the map get cut in half. Yeah, the spores are chewing up the interceptors. We are getting treated to an onion game here, people. Lots and lots of layers. Joey's adding more spores. He's maxed. He's got no reason not to. Oh, the interceptors are just breaking apart like cheap drones. I hope he kept the receipt for those things, because they were obviously of poor quality. And here come the next door cannons. 3 of them backed by 3 batteries. 1 Duracell, 1 Energizer, and 1 no-name brand from some country I can't pronounce. GogojOey wants to hit before the static D is complete, but he pulls back, hoping to draw the Protoss into the range of his spores. Look at this, late game Guardian Shield. It's a small thing, reducing ranged attacks by 2, but it could be a difference maker. Protoss is caught up on army size. Zerg's about to catch up on upgrades. Zerg's got the lead on economy, but with Protoss mining the gold patches right now, it's not a huge difference. Hard to know where this game's gonna go, but it is a problem for Protoss that they've run out of places to expand on the bottom of the map. BA's not really set up to expand northward, and if Zerg keeps gobbling up the top of the map, that's not gonna be sustainable for the Protoss. Oh wow, shield batteries right up against the creep. Is Protoss slowly breaking through the Zerg defense? Here we go again, people! It's a big one! Feedbacks on the Vipers, Corruptors focusing down the Void Rays, transfuses everywhere like fireworks. Who's got this? Who's got this? The interceptors are fizzing out, but it's the Zerg supply, the Corruptor count, that's really dropping. The Corruptors have fled! That means the Queens are forfeit. This time it's Zerg that's been routed. No, the Corruptors come back to attack from the side. But they're too late, they're gonna be driven off again. The scale has been tipped. The Golden Armada is too powerful to be faced directly. GogojOey thinks he has a solution. He's remaking 17 Corruptors. BA's only able to reinforce with 4 Void Rays. I think we're about to study a certain advantage that late game Zerg has. If Protoss hasn't kept up with his Stargate production, he is vulnerable to the power of the Zerg Remax. Oh, are Archons the counter to Lings? We don't think so. Or alternatively, they just don't care. Oh, BA's gonna try to expand to the north. That is the one thing that could keep this game going beyond the 20-minute mark. The new wave of corruptors is here. And GogojOey's ready to put them into battle. Did I just call him GogojOey? Oh man, I'm losing it. Though in my defense, that's an equally cool name. Oh, he's fighting over top the shield batteries. That's not a good deal for the Zerg. There's a big storm on the Lings. The corruptor count is dropping again. Only this time he doesn't have the cash for the instant rebuild. Yeah, this time instead of making 17 corruptors, Zerg's making 8. Oh, interesting. Zerg is taking what is now a very aggressive expansion at the north. That's on the Protoss side of the map, and it makes him an instant neighbor. Won't you be my neighbor? Yes, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Everything is sparkly when you're Protoss warping in buildings. Look at those shield batteries just littering the ground. I mean, dude, you gotta recycle those. Even the lowly Terrans have learned how to salvage a bunker. Oh man, you know you're thirsting for minerals when. This is not a situation that can stay copacetic very long. There is gonna be a fight between those two bases in no time at all. You know, I can't remember the last time I ever saw a player actually take the blue minerals in the dead center there. Though if this game goes on long enough, maybe somebody will get interested. Zerg's gold is long mined out. I think those queens know this is not the hill they want to die on. Oh, another expansion northward for Protoss. The upper left side of the map is starting to get awful crowded. Remarkably, the air armies are not heading up there. I really thought they would. GogojOey's adding to his Viper count. BA is making, you guessed it, Void Rays. Meanwhile, the Zerg's world's boldest expansion is up. GogojOey is gonna add the extractors and saturate it. Seriously, I can't believe there hasn't been a battle there yet. Oh, this is a little bit different. ButAlways has added the Zealot leg upgrade. I didn't expect him to be mixing in speed lots. But I think what's happening is he's got a lot more minerals coming in than he does gas. And this is one way that he can put those extra minerals to use. If you got an extra 600 minerals, just warp in 6 Zealots. Tell them to watch a bunch of videos with games with Neeb in them. And then just say, Zealots, go out and do that. They'll be awesome. I'm still waiting to get a Neeb button installed on my keyboard. Okay, so GogojOey is reinforcing his high-risk expansion up north there. I was starting to wonder if our players had some kind of secret agreement that there will be no fights on the top side of the map. Forget reinforcing, Zerg is attacking. BA gets off the photon overcharge. Those Lings might have bit off more than they can chew. GogojOey smartly redirects to the offending shield battery and takes it down. The static D is falling. It's neat to watch these little I was gonna say it was neat to watch these micro battles where the large armies are away, but I think they just showed up. This is like the start of World War I. You've got these small countries feuding and then they all pull in their big brother allies. BA just scorches the Zerg expansion. But the emergency corruptor response team is on its way. Nope, he's thought twice about it. He knows Protoss is still bigger. He wants to hold off that engagement until he can increase his army size. And look at this, it's an ultralisk cavern researching chitinous plating. That little chewing mouth always cracks me up. It always looks like it's singing a hot R&B single. Now that GogojOey knows the gloves are off on the north side of the map, he wants to build his forest up there. Any one of his bases could be next. Protoss is almost matching Zerg on economy now. GogojOey's transitioning out of corruptors. He's making 50 Lings and 2 Ultras. The entire character of this game is about to take a major change. Zerg's building a mineral bank too. There's the feedbacks. The Viper count is high though, he doesn't get them all. But Protoss is going to get position over another Zerg base. Oh, 2 carriers snagged. That is expensive. The Templars look to try to finish the job. There's no ground army with the corruptors this time. They're really free to go hunting. GogojOey is maxed in building that bank. BA's looking to take over that base he just shut down. He's looking to plant the static D. GogojOey repositions his forest and he's got just a ton of Lings on the map right now. He is in many places at once. And it looks like he's going to try to hit the southernmost base. He's going for it. Zerg is adding melee attack 2 and carapace 2. He really is going to try to shift into a ground war here. The Void Rays have not been great against the Lings. Though, in fairness, the Lings have not been great against the Void Rays. You can really see the power of that photon overcharge. Look how long it took to shred that down. Though I should add, those are not crackling. They are regular speedlings. GogojOey's missing that upgrade. So yeah, those Void Rays can really torch an Ultralisk. But I gather the idea is that the Ultralisk does its damage before the Void Rays show up, or else the Void Rays are supposed to be too busy dealing with the Corruptors. Ultralisk speed is coming online. ButAlways is officially taking that last mineral patch on his side of the map. At this point, other than the strip of blue minerals in the center of the map, everything has been claimed at least once. I've never seen Golden Wall mine out before. These two Titans just might pull it off. Protoss tries to rebuild at the south right, so the Ultralisks are coming right on back to finish the job. GogojOey with the Abduct on a Void Ray, BA with the Escape. BA's got an Observer with his armies. He can really pare back that creep. This is why you never shake hands with an Ultralisk. Ugh. Rather than rescue his base, Protoss takes one of the Zerg bases instead. But it's of very little strategic value. It's long mined out. The Ultralisks have moved on to the next base. It's too early to declare a base race, but this is getting a bit of a base racy feel to it. I think GogojOey is keeping his Corruptors on hand for defense. He wants to slow down the Protoss while his Lings and Ultras go to work. So, maybe not a true base race, but a lot of destruction. Here goes the Hive. I thought the Corruptors were going to defend, but if not now, when? Did you know that 2,500 hit points could evaporate so fast? Guess what? Hives are also armored. Void Rays can just rip them. Ultralisks, they be armored too. Well, that looks to be the end of the Zerg attack. Air armor level 2 for the Protoss completes. GogojOey's linked his armies up. He's even bringing the Queens. Zerg's gonna try and throw everything it has at the Golden Armada. Lings are sent in first, but BA's gonna recall. Zerg is denied. Though this does give Zerg time to try to rebuild his tech tree. He needs to get that Spire back, which he's building at the top left. GogojOey's just banking money and not building units right now. I think he wants to go back to air, so he's stuck at 183 supply until that Spire finishes. Protoss is completely maxed. 24 Void Rays, 40 Interceptors, and 0 motherships. Though, I guess it's true what they say. You can't let your mother fight your battles for you. Ouch, ouch, sorry. Anywho, this map is starting to look pretty mined out. Both of our players have pretty big mineral banks at this point. The gas ones aren't too impressive just yet, though. GogojOey's transition back to Corruptors is looking pretty complete. He's got 35 Corruptors in his army now. EA's going after the 1 o'clock base. That's a pretty critical one for the Zerg. It's still got half its minerals and it's got his Spire. The Spore Forest gets focused down. Zerg can't let this go. He's got to defend. He is. This could be it. Zerg tries to backstab, but Protoss is ready. Feedbacks hit the Vipers. This is all about the air army count now. Both supplies just drop like stones. But it's Zerg that's in retreat. But the Queens can't escape. They're getting focused down. I'm blinded by the light. There's more transfuses than you see in an emergency room at a hospital. But a third of the Corruptors are gone. Make that half. 16 Void Rays, 16 Corruptors. Zerg is down to 10 Corruptors. Make that 6. The tipping point thingy has definitely tipped. Zerg's air army has been decimated. The Ultras pose no threat. There is a window for Protoss to finish this. He needs to shut down that Spire. Couple more Zerg bases. GogojOey's trying to rebuild his Corruptors again. BA has Zealots roaming the map. Partly for vision, partly for tearing down Zerg structures. They find the drones, but really that's an afterthought. The Corruptor count is back up to 15, but the Spire is gone. GogojOey's gonna have to rebuild it for a third time. Zerg is starved for gas, and Protoss is significantly outmining him at this point. The Ultralisks are elated to finally find some ground targets. But the Zealots have no incentive to fight, they'll just run away. Oh, it's another air battle! There's no Queens to back up those Corruptors though. And there's just not enough for the Zerg. BA's gonna take the opportunity to focus down another hatchery. There's no minerals there. This isn't exactly a high-value target, but it looks cool blowing up. What a game this has been, but I do believe we're in the final. Oh, the Corruptors try one more time. Oh, but it's GG. That was a great game one. Once again, ButAlways does not disappoint. But how about GogojOey? I liked what he brought to this. First things first, I know what you're thinking. Zugzwang, Void Rays aren't that unique. There's a lot of Void Ray play going on with Protoss right now. Just because ButAlways busts out the Void Rays doesn't make him the craziest player around. Well, that's true. But ButAlways was doing this before the last Void Ray patch. He was doing it in 2019 when nobody else was touching Flux Veins. It certainly does make a lot more sense now, though. In August of 2020, the cost of the Void Ray dropped 50 minerals. The build time also dropped 6 seconds. The cost was the game changer. The knock against Void Rays in early game was not that they weren't good, but that they were too flimsy. You'd spend all this money and you'd get it knocked out. Whereas if you bought an Oracle or a Phoenix, you had a good chance of flying away and letting your shields recharge. Now that they're cheaper and faster, but mostly that they're cheaper, Void Rays make a little bit more sense. But pure Void Ray, that's still pretty crazy. Especially whenever your opponent has a composition that goes heavy on armor. I know I was joking about the lack of a mothership. I sure do like to see a mothership late game, but what really surprised me was the lack of a Tempest. What I think is very effective is once your opponent starts to go Spore Forest, you throw in the Tempest with the Tectonic Destabilizers. It's the new upgrade that does additional damage against structures. If you're playing Protoss and you're in a map split in half situation, that's the thing you want in my book. Your Golden Armada can sit on your shield batteries and you'll be in range to blast those spores. And you've probably figured out I wasn't wild about the idea of using Corruptors to counter Void Rays. By no means is it a bad idea, it's a legitimate option. Corruptors are the closest thing Zerg has to a capital ship. Almost any time you're thinking air battle, you should be thinking Corruptors. They are really good. But the idea of using an armored unit to counter a unit that's specifically designed to destroy armored units just doesn't sit that well with me. So what should you do? I'd propose Hydras. A very cost-efficient way to attack air. And I actually suspect when BA was practicing this build, a lot of his Zerg opponents busted out Hydras. That's why he was researching Storm at the Templar Archives. Because until Protoss gets Splash, they can really be owned by Hydras. Lastly, you probably noticed this was a Crimson Zone game, where the kill count went over 500. Not surprising in a 30-minute game. But was it a legendary double Crimson Zone with 1,000 deaths? No, it was not. The final kill tally was 997. Seriously, could they not have sliced just 3 more drones? Or probes, I'm an equal opportunity psychopath. Anyways, there's a lot more we could say about this game, but we really want to get to game 2, so let's have our 7th inning stretch and then let's get back at it. Adjutant, if you would please.
Preparing to vent flux veins. The game begins now.
Okay, if this game can manage to be a fraction as interesting as the previous game, I will be content. When you have cool builds and comebacks, that makes for a compelling story. And right now, for me, the next part of that story is, how is GogojOey going to react to what just happened? He's actually got to play at least one more game against this delightful screwball. Only this time, we're going to do it on the map Dethara. A map for which a lot of the attention is on the acceleration zones in the middle of the map, but the real story is often those rich gas geysers in the wings. There's 2 expansion sites that have 2 rich gas geysers. That's pretty unusual. And it starts to promote some interesting strategies mid-game. GogojOey's gonna go for a hatch first this time. He went pool first last game. It's a gate and go for our Protoss player. His real name is Chen Ting Yu. He's already out of the Taiwanese military, where he flew experimental Void Rays. He is ButAlways! Somebody get this man a sponsor and a team so he is not lost from the Starcraft scene. His opponent is named after the most successful all-female rock band of all time. It's GogojOey! I think it's fair to call the Gogos the most successful. Anyway, I am distraught that BA is teamless, and so when I become a multi-millionaire, I will start up a team called the Knights of Zugzwang, and he will be my first invite. Though I suppose I might accept applications from other players, I don't know, Maybe that Cyril guy, I hear he's pretty good. Oh, it's a fast third for GogojOey. This is definitely a different way to macro. He's not going to have enough minerals to go double queen once his pool finishes. I can't actually tell you which way is better. All I can tell you is it's not the way that Scarlet and Cyril do it. See here, the natural completes. Apologies if you got wet. And the pool finishes up as well. But there's no queen being made at the main right now. GogojOey just doesn't have the cash. He's making a single queen at his natural. I'm sure he'll fix that later. What he's done is he's prioritized the power of that extra hatch. Will he be able to leverage it to his advantage? The core completes, and GogojOey's Overlord is going to see that BA has started chrono boosting a Stalker. And the initial tech choice will be a Stargate. Last game it was a Robo for some Warp Prism play. That just kind of got overshadowed by all the Void Ray craziness. That second queen is now started, but the Adept is already out on the map. BA has also started researching warp gates. 4 lings are being made in response to that Adept. And that probe is auditioning for the role of First Blood. He needs to get out of there. A third queen is now in production. That is good. You don't want to be light on queens when your opponent is going for a Stargate. Especially if he's going to have 3 bases to cover. That was an unfortunate shade in. The Adept shows up right next to the queen. Sees the lings. And she's got to get out of there. There's a shade to the main, but the lings have picked it up. The Adept has to let that shade cancel, and just like the probe before her, she needs to leave. Ling speed is underway, and guess what's coming out of that Stargate? It's a Void Ray, and you can see why there's no chrono boost on that Warp Gate research. It's all getting dumped into that Void Ray production. Is this just going to be one Void Ray, as in Void Rays are the new Phoenix? I want to do a little Overlord hunting? Or is this echoes of Game 1? Last game, ButAlways revealed his starting tech to the Scouting Overlord, and he's doing the exact same thing this game. The Overlord dies, and GogojOey gets supply blocked yet again, but he does get the info. He reacts with a Spore, and he's got double Overlord production already underway. There's a second Void Ray behind this. This is indeed looking like a variation of Game 1. The biggest change being that it's a little bit faster this time. GogojOey plants a Roach Warren at his natural. He's also adding an additional Spore there as well. And it's a little bit delayed, but it is time for the Warp Gate ceremony. I keep wanting to make a graphic with party confetti and stuff like that. It might be funny, but part of me thinks I just kind of like it natural. I bizarrely love watching Warp Gates open. It's weird. Well, that Void Ray's not having any more luck than the Adept before it. A Spore and a Queen will chase it out. BA plants his third. There's a Ling who's gonna see it. There's a shield battery though, so the probe shouldn't be in too much peril. Ooh, there's a few more Lings though. And a second Adept is warped in to counterbalance that. BA's lucky he saved his original Adept, or he wouldn't have been able to do that. Oh, those Queens are chasing the Void Rays off creep. I think GogojOey wants to use the acceleration zones to try to surprise him. The Lings dart back in, and it's gonna be a door challenge. Single Adept there, no Stalker. An excellent read by our Zerg player. BA's gonna wall off with the shield battery. The jig is up, the Lings leave, but they have at least kept the Protoss honest and forced them to put down some static defense. It looks like he's probably gonna, yes, he cancels that original shield battery so he can get out his front door. Holy, the Queens aren't just playing with the acceleration zones, they're marching to the attack. This is a timing attack with roaches. The Queens are trying to do the slow march across the board to lend support, but BA knows it and his Void Rays are going to be able to harass them the entire way. Yeah, he's effectively cutting off the supply line. Really though, he'd love to get those Void Rays on the roaches where they can do the most good. 3 of which are now going to turn into Ravagers. I don't think GogojOey wants to go another 30 minutes against Void Rays. I think he's going to try to end this. But BA has brought an Immortal and a Disruptor to help guard his front door. Nova Beam away! Oh, we got two Ravagers. That was a fantastic shot. GogojOey has isolated the third though. If Protoss is gonna turtle, he gets to claim it. That forces Protoss to get out from his wall. The Disruptor's exposed. Zerg is going at it. BA's running back to his wall, but the Lings get the surround. They pin it in place and the Bile takes it out. That was really well done. And it looks like BA's gonna have to sack his third Nexus. A new Void Ray has arrived, but the Queens are transfusing. The third falls. But the original Void Rays have made it back home. There's too much firepower for the Queens to handle, especially since the Colossus has arrived. ButAlways has now made one of everything you can possibly make from a Robo. The Lings at the wall just get shredded. This attack is over, though GogojOey did get the third and he did get himself a contain. Oh, it's so sad. The Queens can't join the retreat. They're too slow, so the only logical thing for them to do is to stand and fight and die. That's so mercenary. Okay, so for the next phase of the game, Zerg is going to make a Spire. Protoss has gone for triple Stargate, all Void Rays, and this is sounding a little bit familiar. There's also a Forge getting warped in, which at this point, I'm going to guess is just for cannons, because +1 air attack is already started. Here comes that Spire, and we'll be watching for the Corruptor response. GogojOey clearly didn't like my Hydra idea. They never seem to hear me when I shout at my monitor. There's only 4 Void Rays in the attack at this point. Only. A half an hour ago, that would have seemed like an awful lot. But there's more coming across the map. Oh, here comes number 5. I think they can overpower those Queens now. Oh, GogojOey isn't making Corruptors. He's making mass Muta. Mutas are not great against Void Rays, but they are great at a lot of other things, and they're not armored, so there's that. But he's going to need to make a lot of them to overpower the Void Rays. He may not know that BA is going for triple Stargate production, though we should based on Game 1. Well, look how wrong I am. Just 7 Mutas is enough to scare off the Void Rays. And the ones that missed the recall, they're not going to get home. But look at the reaction from Protoss. He's just transitioned to Phoenix. Mutas are great. They're fantastic, but maybe not so great against an opponent that has triple Stargate already. I really like this change-up. They're going to get the +1 as well. Okay, so Protoss is trying to get his third back up. A Zergling is keeping his eye on the alternate third base location. Oh! Love this! GogojOey's going for a risky expansion. It's the double rich gas location. And arguably, it's sort of the one closer to Protoss. If it works, that could give him the gas to really fund an army that could deal with mass Void Rays. In fact, GogojOey is quite ahead on supply as it is. ButAlways has been forced to invest heavily in static defense. He didn't get it on credit, he had to pay for that. Oh no, I can't look. Phoenix versus running Muta. Not cool, man, not cool. And they're about to get +1. Somebody save those bird bats. Oh, they're running back to a Queen line. Only 3 survive. But look at that, there's Corruptors now. Oh, BA got the scout on that hidden expansion. Not too surprising. I mean, every pro player wants to keep an eye on those rich gas geysers. He's going to take a 4th to try to compensate. But it's a better deal from the Zerg, who's going to be on 5 bases. It's Fleet Beacon and Flux Veins. The mass Void Ray strat is official. And GogojOey's pumping Corruptors. It does feel a little deja vu-y, but I really do think the rich gas is going to change the way this plays out. Yeah, he's got extractors in place before the hatch even finishes. GogojOey has a chance to shut it down, but the Corruptors are waiting to counterpounce. Here comes the clash. Zerg with a bigger army on paper. They both have +1 attack. Flux Veins coming online. Is he going to get the base? Protoss really wants to shut that rich gas base down. BA has also managed to supply block the Zerg. GogojOey moves in with everything to try to save his base. The Queens are coming. They can support those Corruptors with those transfuses. I don't know how they got here, but they are just in time. The hatch was below half. Now, if Protoss wants the hatch, they really have to pay for it. ButAlways backs off. The Queen says, I hate your Void Rays, and your little Colossus too. It does kind of look out of place. BA made it to defend against the Lings, and now he doesn't quite know what to do with it. It doesn't have the range upgrade either. Oh, and Protoss is transitioning to carriers, or at least adding some in again. The Queens aren't just defending now, they're marching out. After that last battle, Zerg has a significant supply lead. The Protoss 4th does not have its static defenses up yet. There could be a window here for the Zerg. BA needs to buy time, he needs those shield batteries. GogojOey bought his walking shield batteries in the form of Queens. I can't see, it's too bright. It looks like Zerg's taking the worst of it, but GogojOey can afford to lose more. The ground is layered in Queen guts. The Colossus I was dissing made a big difference there, and there are now 3 shield batteries online, one of which has an overcharge. But still, there's only 4 Void Rays left. 3, 2, 1. And we'll call that none. And not fighting the Colossus. Oh. And my math is terrible. There was another Void Ray hiding behind the Colossus. Zerg reduces the Protoss army to a pulp, but since he's lost his ground army, he doesn't have enough to go in at the static D. Protoss is down almost 50 supply at this point. It's pretty grim. But somehow BA came back from a light deficit in Game 1. Maybe he can pull off the magic again. I mean, supply is a bit of a misleading stat for this guy, because he puts a lot of his resources into his shield batteries and cannons. That's just not going to show up in your army size. And generally, he gets a lot of value out of his static D. He makes sure he fights over top of it. There's another photon overcharge right there. This time GogojOey's going to pull back. He's going to let it time out. There's a real push and pull going on here. Zerg tries to lure Protoss away from the cannons. Protoss tries to lure Zerg back to the cannons. Which is one of the reasons why I think mixing in a couple of Tempests would be really killer. When you can outrange your opponent, they kind of got to come to you. I mean, I'm not normally wild about Tempests, but when you've got that much invested in static D, I think it's worthwhile. So once again, the Protoss air is decimated, and the Zerg ground force is decimated. It results in a bit of a stalemate. GogojOey's going to reweight his forces a little bit. He's going heavier on the roaches and the lings now. He's adding in roach speed and +1 missile attack. He's also starting up his hive, by the way. That could be significant. I know Zerg doesn't really use Broodlords that much anymore, but they're kind of the reason Protoss stopped using static defense. Protoss, on the other hand, is not changing up his strategy. BA's just going Void Rays 4 at a time. And he's going to go air attack +3 and try to get an edge in the air war. The Corruptors are swinging to the west. They've spotted this new Protoss base on the left-hand side here. But the ground army's going to keep up the assault on the 4th base. There's a lot of biles available, but this time there's no air support or queens. The Corruptors are in the main. The Voids are routing the Ravagers. But his production line is getting hit. He loses a Stargate. The Corruptors can pick off individual Void Rays as they warp in. Unfortunately, they can't do anything about the Stalkers that warped in, which is enough to persuade GogojOey to back off. Which means the Corruptors are kind of caught out of position. Well, I guess they could shut down this nascent expansion here, but that's more menial work for Zerglings. Really, if he's not going to hit the main, he needs to swing back to the east side. Oh, BA knows the Corruptors are out of position. Even though he doesn't particularly have his army built up to full strength, it looks like he's going to try and do something. Or not. Never mind. That window closed. The Ravagers and Corruptors pull back and successfully take a guard position over that rich gas geyser base. Protoss scrambles back to the static defense. And our players come back full circle to where they've been before. I'm not sure why he's trying the exact same stunt again. He must think he's got enough Ravagers this time. But he couldn't even do it when he had enough Queen support. Zerg's gonna try the central ramp. That seems like a difficult spot to get into, but if he can get up there, he can threaten 3 different locations simultaneously. Or he could just get sandwiched by an attack on all sides. Well, it does give him the high ground over Protoss's army, and maybe a chance to tear down that cyber core before the upgrade's done? Nope. The Void Rays drive the Zerg force out. Stop the presses! Here's something new. Turnabout is fair play. We've got a ninja expand. Protoss is taking the rich gas geyser base on the Zerg side of the map. That is one way that Protoss could get back in this. More than get back in this. Zerg's gonna mine out his rich gas geysers. GogojOey's maxed and looking to trade. Battery schmattery, let's fight, he says. In theory, he's got enough biles to keep those Void Rays dodging. They either gotta take the hits or keep on firing. ButAlways takes the hits and his Void Rays have fallen. The tipping point is crossed again. Oh, but there's that quadruple reinforcement, defender's advantage. I think that just turned the tide right back. I thought there were Ravagers in the Zerg army. The Immortals blew them apart. But even though he's losing engagements, GogojOey's up to 92 workers. He's pulling in a ton of minerals, a ton of gas. He just keeps remaking those Corruptors. He's now adding in the Vipers. It really does sound like it should work. But it eventually faltered in Game 1. And it feels like Zerg can't break the Protoss in this game either. And if the Protoss manages to max out, I'd be a little bit afraid. It's weird. Zerg has like a 50 supply lead, but it doesn't have a 50 supply lead feel. When you're down this far, you should be cracking at the seams. Alright, I think here we go again. GogojOey's gonna bring in the queens this time. He always does so much better when he has that transfuse, his little biological shield batteries. BA's gonna take that top right corner, or try to. I'm sure he actually wants the expansion for its minerals and gas, but it actually fulfills a second function. It keeps the Zerg thinking that this is where the Protoss is expanding, and makes it less likely that he'll figure out that he's taken that rich gas base down south. Oh, just in case I wasn't feeling enough of a Game 1 vibe, GogojOey has started an Ultralisk Cavern. It didn't seem to do that much for him in Game 1. Oh, I think Zerg figured out that Protoss is taking the rich gas base. A lone Ling sussed it out. There's no army to defend it. This base is going down. The Nexus overcharge can slow it down, but that's all it can do. Oh, the Zealot run-bys have started. Not sure there's enough spine crawlers to hold. BA's not going to try to defend his rich gas base. He's just going to try to cancel it out by taking the Zergs. Whoa, GogojOey just had his supply decimated. He dropped to 150, and BA took the lead for the first time in this game. He lost a ton of units in both exchanges. And somehow the rich gas stayed up. So did Zerg's base, by the way. GogojOey, though, has a bank with a ton of money, so he's using it to remax with 46 Zerglings. The Void Rays couldn't get a hatch, but the Zealots did. You want something done right? Send in a squad of Zealots. Oh, it's an acid rainbow on that Nexus. It doesn't do a lot of damage at first, but if you can keep it up for 4 seconds, it really kicks up. Unfortunately, the Void Rays showed up to spoil the party. They denied me a Nexus explosion. I like where GogojOey's head's at. People don't use caustic spray nearly enough, in my opinion. People treat it as an air-to-air unit only, but that's not entirely true. Zerg is finally cleaning out that rich gas geyser base. Oh, it's forest time. But those aren't spores, that's 7 new spine crawlers. For the first time in 15 minutes, Protoss has stopped building Void Rays. He's making carriers now. And he's warping in shield batteries, because apparently you can never have too many of those. Remember in Brood War when it was kind of neat to see a shield battery every now and then? The Starcraft 2 shield battery is turning out to be quite a bit different. It's almost hard to remember that Protoss went for years without them. Well, thanks to a new round of carriers, this time it's Protoss that's maxing out. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's really fast, but there's a death animation where the spine crawler actually picks the Zealot up. Kind of looks like he grabs him and hurls him to his death. You can watch this game for years and years and still never see all the little details that the designers have put into it. Oh, Protoss is looking really buff now. It's hard to imagine that not that long ago he was down 50 supply. Zerg's got to be filled with dread, maybe that empty pit in his stomach. It's right about this time last game that all of a sudden it slipped away from him. They've also got to be exhausted. We've got to be pretty close to a second Crimson game. That would make 2 in a row. +1 air armor is going to finish up for the Protoss. Zerg is going to try mixing in some Banelings. He's also going to try that crackling upgrade. He missed that last game. So, both our players are maxed. Both our players are mining about the same amounts. Oh, we got another big attack here. Protoss is pushing into that rich gas geyser, though the actual rich gas geysers are long exhausted. Zerg's Air Force is going to defend. Oh, great storms. They just paint the entire Zerg army yellow. And then the Void Rays turn them orange. It's an autumnal nature scene. A festive oil painting of destruction. It also gives us our second Crimson Zone 2 games in a row. Oh, Zerg just got schooled there. GogojOey did not have his queens with him. He didn't have enough time to get them into position, and he paid the price. GogojOey's bank disappears. He spends it all on 14 more corruptors. He has just drained his 401k. His pension fund is gone. The resources loss column is wildly favoring Protoss right now, by like 17,000. That was an incredibly efficient fight for the Protoss. He's still got a fresh base to mine from in the top right, so he's not crippled. But if he loses his new corruptors, he could be. ButAlways' army is twice the size as the Zerg. His days of trying to brute force this are officially over. He is, though, making 7 more corruptors trying to claw his way back into this. Oh, that poor Ultra. That is like so unfair, dude. Rest in peace, buddy. The question then is there anything Zerg can do to get back in this? If he can buy enough time, maybe he can build himself another army. ButAlways is close to max and he has most of his tech. So I think time does favor the Zerg. He adds some additional Vipers. Maybe he can get some Adducts going, grab some capital ships. But he'd have to fight on the fringes. I don't think he can go head to head with that Golden Armada anymore. Maybe he adds a bunch of cheap cracklings and tries to hit them in 5 different places and force the Protoss to split up. Or apparently he could just charge like a crazed berserker. Is he actually going at the Protoss army here? Oh yeah, he's trying to pick off a few carriers. But he can't get too greedy. He's got to remember the run part and the hit and run. ButAlways starts the 22-minute Dark Shrine. I think he's starting to look what he can fill out in his tech tree. But I think BA has figured out that he needs to hit the Zerg. Zerg can run, but he can't really do that if Protoss is sitting over top of his bases. I believe they call this forcing the issue. Yeah, he has no choice but to take the bait and fight those Void Rays, which means the carriers come in. Yeah, the Protoss has triple the army at this point. I almost think like he shouldn't kill that Ultralisk Cavern. It's done so little for the Zerg. There's the GG! That's not just the game for ButAlways, that's the series! What a gift for my favorite player of 2019! Okay, so again, the issue raised by this game is, just how does Zerg deal with the insanity that is massed Void Rays? I've already said my personal view is Hydras, but I want to add something to that. I think it would work better with spellcasters, or as I call them as a sci-fi nerd, effect casters. First of all, Void Rays stack over top of each other very tightly, which makes them ideal targets for fungal growth. But you knew that. My second thought is this. I've never actually seen it, but in the future, might we see Hydras protected from Void Rays by Microbial Shroud? It's a spell we almost never see. It reduces damage from air to ground by 50%. In theory, it could be a game changer. Or maybe Hydras evaporate so quickly that even half damage doesn't matter. We need to see it tested at a pro level. A word of caution about Hydras, though. Back in the Wings of Liberty days, Protoss used to bust out a build in which it would open with Void Rays, force the Zerg into Hydras, or at least bait them into it, and then transition to Colossi, ripping them apart with Splash. So yeah, it's not a panacea by any means. Like I said, ButAlways was researching Storm for a reason. Now I do have one important housekeeping announcement here. After a year, I'm here to announce this is my last video coming out on a Saturday. I have a new schedule.
Sunday, 10 a.m. EST.
I apologize for the change. Consistency is good, but Google has advised me that apparently my viewers don't like Saturdays and prefer Sunday mornings. So, who am I to argue with our computer overlords? I hope the new date and time is well received. So, hope to see you going forward on Sunday mornings, or if not, in the days that follow. That's kind of a thing with YouTube. You can watch the videos whenever you damn well feel like it. And even better, you can always just hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell icon, and then you'll just be notified whenever a video comes out anyway. And if the schedule permits, we'll try to sneak in extra videos on Thursdays to break up the week. But let's be honest, I haven't been so great at getting those midweek videos out so far. So, from my base to yours, ZergZwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to ZergZwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, ZergZwang out.